These photos scared the entire world. 20 photos that scientists cannot explain. The realm of the unknown has always held a tantalizing allure for humanity. And throughout history, certain photographs have managed to capture moments that defy explanation, leaving scientists and researchers scratching their heads. Are these photographs real or fake? We'll let you make up your mind on that. Let's take a look at the variety of scary images, including those of the afterlife and much more. Number 1. Circles of fairies. These barren, circular areas known as fairy circles can be seen in the western desert grasslands of southern Africa. The diameters of these circles, which are usually found in monotypic grasslands, range from 2 to 15 meters. For a long time, researchers have been unable to piece together the who or what behind the formation of fairy circles. Though it's commonly assumed that sand termites are to blame, the phenomenon's distribution is much broader than that of the termite species. Number 2. Pyramid on the Moon. This picture was taken by Apollo 17 on its way to the moon in December 1972. It was taken near a place called Geophone Rock. NASA called this picture blank, but when the shot is fixed, you can see that it is not blank. When the contrast is turned up, a triangular shape can be seen. NASA has never given a good explanation of the problem, so people have made up their ideas about what else might be hidden on the moon. Number 3. Spaceman from the Solway Firth. This photograph, which is now considered to be one of the most famous and puzzling pictures in the world, was taken by Jim Templeton in 1964 in Cumbria, England, close to the Solway Firth. There is another person or thing in the picture that looks like a spaceman hiding behind Templeton's daughter, who was supposed to be the only person in the picture. However, Templeton stated that he did not notice anyone else in the room when the shot was being taken. A more recent analysis suggests that the figure may have been the photographer's wife, standing with her back to the camera. Number 4. Hipster time traveler. A purported time traveler can be seen in a photo taken in 1941 to commemorate the reopening of the South Fork Bridge in Goldbridge, British Columbia. It was alleged that his attire and sunglasses were contemporary, not from the 1940s. The man's hands are clutching a camera that appears to be unacceptably advanced and modern for the time. The man is now frequently referred to as the time-traveling hipster after his picture went viral on the internet. Number 5. Mysterious 9/11 attack survivor. In this image, a woman is seen perched on the edge of the South Tower, which was destroyed in the 9/11 terrorist attack. It is clear that the woman survived the initial attack because she was waving and possibly calling for assistance, but it is unknown how she did so or what happened to her later. Number 6. Ghost of the SS Watertown. James Courtney and Michael Meehan, 2 SS Watertown crew members, died in December 1924 while cleaning an oil tanker's cargo tank after being killed by gas fumes. The crew buried the soldiers in the water, but to their surprise, the next day, the ghostly faces of the soldiers materialized in the water. Later, numerous more crew members claimed to have also seen the faces. The ship's captain gave the order to take a picture of the faces because they were so obvious. Even the negative was declared authentic after being examined for forgery. Number 7. Image of Freddie Jackson. While working as an aviation mechanic in 1919, Freddie Jackson was unintentionally murdered by an airplane propeller. His squadron took a group picture 2 days later, but when that picture was developed, Freddie Jackson was visible. The stunned crew confirmed that Jackson was the man in the picture. In actuality, Jackson's funeral was held on the same day that the photo was taken. It's thought that Jackson's ghost visited the location to have his picture shot as planned, even though he had already passed away. Number 8. Death of Elisa Lam. Another spooky tale from Los Angeles involves Elisa Lam, whose death in 2013 has been a mystery ever since. Lam, a student who was 21 years old, was discovered dead in a water tank on the roof of the Hotel Cecil, where she was residing. There is a very strange video clip of her in the hotel elevator on the day of her disappearance, albeit it's unclear how she got onto the roof, which was barricaded at the time. Lam can be seen in the video leaving and entering the elevator, speaking and waving in the corridor outside, and occasionally appearing to hide within the elevator, which also seems to be weirdly malfunctioning. Number 9. The Lights of Hestelen. In the Hestelen Valley in Norway, people have reported seeing a peculiar light phenomenon at least as far back as the 1940s, and possibly even earlier. A type of white or yellow light, the origin of which is unclear, is seen either standing or hovering above ground level in the site. The lights were seen as frequently as 20 times a week between the years 1981 and 1984, but their appearances have substantially decreased to between 10 and 20 times a year since that time. Despite continuous research and a great number of working hypotheses, there is yet no answer that can adequately explain where these lights came from. Number 10. Phoenix Lights. Thousands of individuals reported seeing unusual lights in March 1997. A triangle arrangement of lights that was supposedly seen to travel over the state, and a string of stationary lights that were allegedly spotted in the Phoenix region were two separate incidents connected to this event. Although specialists have proposed several explanations to account for the strange phenomenon, it's still unclear what those thousands of people witnessed that day. Number 11. The Naga Fireballs. The Naga Fireballs, also known as the Mekong Lights or Naga Lights, are an odd natural occurrence that has been observed on the Mekong River in Thailand and Laos. The phenomenon is said to involve brilliant reddish balls rising spontaneously from the water into the upper atmosphere. There have been numerous attempts to provide a scientific explanation for the Naga Fireballs, but none of them have been successful. Number 12. The 29th victim of Candyman. Between 1970 and 1973, serial killer Dean Corll, also known as the Candyman, kidnapped, raped, tortured, and killed 28 young boys. But in 2012, 40 years after these horrifying crimes, a bizarre photograph of a terrified youngster in handcuffs was discovered in the custody of one of Corll's accomplices. The discovery that the boy in the picture was not one of the original 28 children made the already frightening situation even worse. Number 13. Strange Satellites. Newspapers such as the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and the San Francisco Examiner reported in 1954 that the U.S. Air Force had discovered two satellites orbiting the planet, citing retired naval aviation major and UFO researcher Donald Keyhoe. However, no one had the technology to launch a satellite at this time, which has given rise to numerous theories about the object's provenance. Some conspiracy theorists think it's an extraterrestrial satellite with a 13,000-year history. Number 14. Babushka Woman. A woman who was present in 1963 at the killing of President John F. Kennedy is recognized by the moniker the Babushka Lady. She might have taken pictures of the assassination since she was seen clutching a camera. She may be seen still standing with the camera at her face even though the shooting had already occurred and most of her nearby witnesses had run for shelter. She has not yet been positively identified, and neither has the film she may have shot. Number 15. Phantom Tulip Staircase. This well-known image was captured in 1966 by retired minister Reverend Ralph Hardy of White Rock, British Columbia. The exquisite tulip staircase at the Queen's House section of the Natural Maritime Museum in Greenwich, England, was all he had originally intended to photograph. The original negative was inspected by experts who concluded that it had not been tampered with. Unidentified footsteps have frequently been heard near the stairway, which is said to be haunted. Number 16. Picture of the Cooper family. The Cooper family, originally from Texas, made their new home in the house they had purchased in the 1950s. When they got there, they took a family portrait, but when it was processed, there was a clear image of a body dropping from the ceiling in the background of the picture. As a result of the fact that additional investigation into the story is not produced, a plausible explanation. Number 17. Case of Falcon Lake. Reportedly seen by Stefan Mikulik in 1967 at Falcon Lake in Canada, was an unidentified flying object. Before the thing suddenly rose off and knocked Mikulik flat on his back, he was almost close enough to touch it. Mikulik said he got burned by the gridded exhaust vent of the spacecraft. As can be seen in the shot, the hot gases burned his chest as well. Mikulik became quite ill after this strange mishap, exhibiting symptoms consistent with radiation exposure, albeit the cause of the burns was still unknown. Number 18. Spirit of Hampton Court. This specter was caught on video in the Greater London area at the Royal Palace of Hampton Court. The guards arrived at the location where the figure had been seen locking a palace entrance but found no one present. Given the palace's bloody past, the mysterious apparition is likely to be one of the many spirits that reside there. Number 19. Time Traveler. There is a woman who looks to be using a cell phone in a clip from a 1928 promotional film for Charlie Chaplin. Mobile phones did not exist in the 1920s, but the woman's actions and demeanor are frighteningly similar to what we see on the streets today. And number 20. The Monster of Hook Island. Off the coast of Queensland, Australia in 1964, French photographer Robert Serec discovered and snapped a brief photo of what seemed like a gigantic snake-like monster reclining on the sea floor. Some reports suggested it might have been a long tarp. There have been no convincing analysis of this strange picture. And that's all for today's video, but we'll be right back with more soon, so don't forget to give this one a thumbs up, and please subscribe to our channel.